Coach, local comment, put your hand with your mic.
How's everybody?
Keep it up.
Good. Well, that wasn't probably our best effort, but I think you have to give Chattanooga players a lot of credit. They really played hard. They played well. They played a lot of grit and a lot of toughness. We knew this would be a challenge for us at this point in the season to get our guys to play at a high level, even though we wanted to, kind of build on the momentum and get everybody's confidence to where that would be really good going into next week. But I thought our players responded a little better in the second half. The defense obviously played pretty well and giving up just 3 points. We had a couple of miscues on a couple passes early in the game, but offensively we didn't have a whole lot of consistency and definitely need to do better with that. But I think there's a lot of lessons to be learned. Talk to the players as much as you want about whoever it was that beat Iowa, South Dakota State, North Dakota State, somebody like that, then Iowa beats Michigan. I mean, you can go on and on and on. This happens all the time in college football because if you're not really ready to play, you don't prepare well to play. It's very difficult when you don't have high energy and intensity to compete at this kind of a game, especially when the other team is, they got a historical moment when they come and play you. I mean, they can make history by doing something special. It's a very big game for them. So, but I think the good news is there's a lot of lessons that we can learn from this game, and we just got to get ourselves ready to play a very good opponent next week, and very challenging game for us. And we need to get our team refocused and recentered, and I think everybody will be just ready to do that.
We'll start over here. Sorry, Coach. Start with Michael.
Was this something you could see coming, the slow first half where they sharpened during pregame warm-ups?
I'm sorry?
Could you see the first half performance coming? Was it a case of them not being ready in the pregame warm-ups?
No, I didn't see it in pregame warm-up. I worried about it all week long. When you're playing conference games every week and you're playing big games every week, it's really hard to get guys not to have a letdown. When you use the word just racing against this guy. I'm just playing this team. I'm just, you set yourself up for thinking something's going to be easy, and you can be complacent, and you don't have to have the same kind of energy level to go play the game. So I think that's deeply rooted. It didn't happen in pregame warm-up. And we started out fast on offense, but they played hard, and we got frustrated a little bit. So defensive guys hung in there and only gave up 3 points, so that was a pretty good job by them, but we just have to do a little better.
How about here on the right with Mark?
Yeah, just want to ask about a few of the injuries. First, Cam Robinson and Corey Kirby. What's up with those guys?
Yeah, both those guys had little shoulder problems. We think they'll be okay, but we're, Doc is going to continue to evaluate it, and we'll make sure that they're going to be okay, and we expect them both to be able to play next week.
Come back over here.
Sorry, just as a quick follow-up, we didn't see our Darius Stewart out there. What's his status? Was he injured?
No, he's fine. Sometimes we have players that have, a violation of our standard of behavior, and, sometimes the way everybody wants to play, and sometimes when you have that, you just tell guys, well, we're not going to play you.
Come back over here to Tony.
Were you pleased with what you saw from the passing game, and how did you think that developed in this game?
I didn't think we had the consistency that we need to have in the passing game. We were late on some throws. We took shots early in the game. We hit one. We didn't make the others. The protection wasn't very good. We broke down in the pocket a couple times when we had people open. So I think there's a lot of work to be done there. I think we're making progress, but I think we have work to do.
Front row, right here with Dwayne.
Coach, what did you say to him at halftime?
I don't know that I should tell you that. I don't know that I can tell you that. But I can tell you part of it. I said, do you believe me now? Because I've been telling them all week. And do you believe me now?
Go back on the
The
inside.
rest of the part of it, we better leave out.
We'll go back on the far side with Taryn.
You mentioned the passing game, but Chattanooga's secondary is ranked first in the FCS for pass defense. What did you see out of them that made it difficult to throw against?
Well, they do a very good job. Their guys break on the ball. They do a great job of reading the quarterback's eyes. Their safeties do a really good job. You know, they do a pretty good job of mixing up their coverages so that makes it a little bit difficult for the quarterback. You know, mostly split safety stuff, but they do it in different ways, and the combinations are difficult for the quarterback to read sometimes. And I think, you know, a couple times we had throws that we didn't throw. We were afraid to pull the trigger. But I think there's lessons to be learned, and we can get better from it.
Come back over here, Ray, Chattanooga Runner.
Coach Saban, Michael Stone with Fox News. You were talking about earlier in the week you were looking for improvement in this game. Did you see any improvement in your team at all tonight, or just kind of a...
Did you? Compared to how we played against Mississippi State, I mean, what do you think?
I think that was a bigger one.
I mean, I don't even know if that's a reasonable question. But look, I'm proud of our team. You know, our team won 11 games this year so far. Had great competitive character. Had to play some really tough games in some really tough places and came through when they needed to. And I'm responsible for how they played today. So if we didn't play up to your standard or we didn't improve, that's my fault, and I'll take responsibility for it. But you know, I like the competitive character of our team. Maybe we weren't perfect today, but you know, we still won 31-3.
Couple more, Alex and then Tom.
I wanted to ask you, Garrett Dieter's a guy that came in, you know, after a pretty good career at Bowling Green, and just really hasn't had the production that you would maybe expect from him previously, but today he has 2 touchdowns. What have you seen from him?
I think the guy's done a fantastic job for us. All right, so when you say he hadn't had the production that you expect, who set the expectation? You or me? I think you did, because from my expectation, the guy's done a really good job. He does a great job of blocking. He does everything we ask him to do. I think he dropped 1 pass early in the year that would have been a big play, but otherwise, I think he's done a good job. Now, if you just say production is about how many passes you catch, I don't think we have anybody for a long time to cut as many passes that they would like to catch or we would like for them to catch, but it wasn't their fault. And now we're developing that, and I've got a lot of confidence in the guy, and he's done a really good job for us.
Last one, and back to Tom.
When you have a game like this and a situation like this and your team is in and you have a halftime discussion like you had today, what sort of things do you look for besides the obvious execution? What sort of things do you look for in terms of him responding in the second half that made you encouraged?
Well, I think, you know, I think everybody in this room understands motivation. I think sometimes you're motivated to do certain things really well, and sometimes other things aren't really important to you, and you don't focus like you should, you don't prepare like you should, you don't have the mental energy and intensity maybe to do certain things as well as you do other things. And I think when you go through a season, it's very difficult to have a team be like this for every game. And we weren't like that today, which is my responsibility. And, you know, but it was the mental energy and intensity. But I see it in practice. I see it in how guys pay attention in meetings, attention to detail, how they prepare. All those things are indicators of how important something is to them. And it doesn't start when the game starts or in pregame warm-up. It starts, you know, like how bad do you want to win the game on Monday? That usually tells me how we're going to be on Saturday.
Okay.
And everybody wanted to win the game today. They just didn't think they had to go out there and do a whole lot to do it. And they got put on notice for that. And no matter how much you try to tell them, sometimes they don't hear it right.
Okay, thank you,
All
Coach.
right, thank y'all.
He just started folding down.